Mollywood Me Too continues to spiral as probe picks up pace in the case. A separate SIT has been formed to probe sexual abuse complaint against Malayalam actor Siddique, and FIR has been registered against director VK Prakash. My colleague Ishika Verma shares more details.
Today, the complainant had recorded her statement in front of the magistrate, and after which a decision has been taken now to form a special investigation team. This special investigation team will be formed in Trivandrum, and in fact, the district crime branch will be heading this special investigation team. Now, apart from the district crime branch, the museum police will together be investigating this matter. Remember, in fact, there have been very serious allegations that have been leveled against actor Siddique. There were rape charges that in fact have been leveled against actor Siddique. Now, if we talk about the other development that has now come in this in this entire Mollywood Me Too movement here, is that the 10th FIR has now been registered. Now, this FIR, the fresh FIR that has been registered, is against director VK Prakash, and in this FIR, the charges are of sexual assault. Non-bailable, in fact, sections have been put into this FIR, and this FIR has been registered after the confidential statement that has been recorded of the complainant in this case. So certainly now we are seeing that developments are certainly happening from the investigation point of view. My first question to you is, you must have heard about the Hema Committee report and how, women who have worked in the Malayalam film industry, they are coming forward with their allegations. How do you, as a young woman here, how do you see this?
It is extremely shocking that this news has come out from the Malayalam film industry. But at the same time, being surprised, we are also happy that we became the first industry to publish this. This immediately calls for the safety and concern about women's safety in workplace, and also calls for strict action against sexual harassment in workplaces, as well as just a general call for safety and security of women wherever we go. This should be the government's top priority.
So plus, as you said about it, that safety should be one of the concerning factor. When you look at, these are celebrities, and the allegations that they have made are very shocking, certainly. How do you see it, and do you also feel that somehow it also raises concerns about safety of yours?
Yes, I think that it's not only about the issue in a film industry. Let me tell that it came such a popularity just because it happened to some celebrities. It's not an issue that is only happening to celebrities or a person in a high class. Actually, every woman in every industry is actually facing this. We should take steps, especially government should take steps for every woman in every industries, and not only women, both men and women should be safe in every workplaces they are in.
And now, after Malayalam film industry, Tamil TV industry faces allegations of sexual harassment. Renowned actor and producer Kutti Padmini speaks exclusively to NDTV. The Tamil actor claims that she was sexually harassed as a child actor, and when her mother raised the issue, she was thrown out of the movie. Take a look.
In Tamil Nadu, at least two well-known women in the industry. One is singer Chinmay, another one Sri Reddy. They had raised specific complaints of sexual harassment against two individuals. In the case of Chinmay, it's Mr. Vairamuthu. But she alleges she is being taken on for that. She has been banned from the Dubbing Association for naming Mr. Radha Ravi there.
It's very true. I stood by Chinmay right from beginning. In fact, I went ahead and voted for her when she stood in the dubbing union. It's very wrong of Mr. Radha Ravi to do this. And and nobody has any right to put sand in your work. She's an earning member. She was a very popular singer and a dubbing artist. Banning her from, she cannot work. You have no right for that. And because of the judicial system is so long, she did apply in court, but it's taking time. But it's very unfair. And I support Chinmay in this completely and wholeheartedly.
Right.
Even regarding Sri Reddy, I requested our South Indian Artists Association also to issue her a card.
Right.
They banned her from, acting in films. They did not issue a card. I said, it's wrong. At least let her act in television. No, they didn't issue a card. So without a card, a membership card, you can't be in the film fraternity.
What's the message this kind of an action like ban sends?
No, this is showing the total male chauvinism, and we have the power, we have the control. What can you do? If you go and complain, your profession is collapsed. So you have to go somewhere else and work.
Even Chinmay, for instance, Mr. Vairamuthu had at that time said if she gives a formal complaint, he would legally tackle it. But he has denied allegations. But nobody comes forward to give a formal complaint.
No, Sam, because you cannot prove it. No. How can you prove it? Maybe things have happened to me also as a child. As a child, I have been also, faced all these issues. But can I come and tell it now? I only could go and tell my mother. Then when mother asked them, I was thrown out of the movie. As a 10-year-old. It's a very huge, very big company. I lost my Hindi movie because of that. Movie was 75% over. So you cannot go and tell now, because those days, if anything happens, first thing is mother. Right. We go and tell the mother. Then mother is, if she's bold, she'll go and ask. The mother is not bold, she'll say, please don't say it out.
Are you or other concerned individuals like you in the industry raising awareness among women in the industry how to tackle this in terms of filing a complaint, in terms of building evidences, circumstantial evidences?
That I don't know, but now Suhasini, Kushbu and today Urvasi, all of them have come forward to say that people should come out and they should complain.
NDTV has now accessed audio of the 3 calls that parents of the 31-year-old doctor raped and murdered at the Kolkata hospital received that morning. Parents of the hospital victim had been alleging from day one that the hospital had initially misled them and mishandled the case. Now, tapes that have gone viral show how the hospital had initially told the parents it was a case of suicide, hinting at a larger cover-up. Take a look at our report.
মেয়েকে আমরা এমার্জেন্সিতে নিয়ে এসেছি, আপনারা আসুন, এসে যোগাযোগ করুন।
কি হয়েছিল কি? ও তো ডিউটিতে ছিল।
Proof of the cover-up attempt by RG Kar Hospital. These viral phone conversations between the deceased parents and the RG Kar officials demonstrate how the parents were misled about their daughter's death.
শুনুন, আপনাকে তখন বারবার বলছিলাম, ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে যে আপনার মেয়ে উনি সুসাইড করেছেন হয়তো, বা কিছু মারা গেছেন। পুলিশ রয়েছে, আমরা হসপিটালে সবার সামনেই রয়েছি, ফোন করছি, আপনারা যত তাড়াতাড়ি পারবেন চলে আসুন।
The tapes have once again brought in the forefront the mishandling of the case, which has resulted in national outrage, not just about women's safety, but also about safety of medical professionals.
ডিপার্টমেন্ট ব্যাপারটাকে চাপা দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করছে প্রথম থেকেই তো আমাদের সুইসাইড বলেছে, হয়তো সুইসাইড হয়েও যেত যদি স্টুডেন্টরা আজকে ঝাঁপিয়ে না পড়তো।
But from the doctors' protest, it has now become a political street fight, with the BJP vowing to hold daily protests for a week against the Bengal government, demanding Bengal Chief Minister's resignation. A delegation from the BJP met the acting chairperson of the NHRC, raising concerns about police action on protesters during the Navana Abhiyan rally.
जो घटना किया है, जो हत्या किया है, जो रेप किया है, उसको अरेस्ट होना चाहिए। और पुलिस का उसमें ध्यान नहीं दे रहा, पुलिस जो प्रोटेस्ट कर उसका ध्यान दे रहा है, तो पुलिस का खिलाफ भी करना चाहिए। हम लोग तो विरोध करेंगे ममता बनर्जी के खिलाफ तो विरोध करेंगे। हम लोग विरोधी पक्ष है पश्चिम बंगाल में, तो हम लोग करेंगे।
As the CBI investigation continues into the rape and murder case of the young doctor in Kolkata, amid the backdrop of politically charged protests, a verbal battle between the BJP and the Trinamool Congress, and violence on the streets of Bengal. What one must not forget is the main cause of this movement, the demand for justice. What remains to be seen is what will finally come out of the investigation. With camera persons Vivek Matpal, GD Shankar and Mukesh Singh Sengar, this is Tanushka Datta for NDTV.
It was a day of legal relief for the 2 top government faces in Karnataka. First, High Court dismissed CBI's petition seeking to continue their probe in disproportionate assets case against DK Shivakumar. Second, High Court also stayed prosecution against Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in the Muda scam till further orders. My colleague Pratibha has more details.
The clock was ticking for both the Congress leaders of Karnataka, CM Siddaramaiah and DCM DK Shivakumar. While one was staring at the Muda battle with the governor, the other was locking horns with the CBI and the BJP regarding the investigation of disproportionate assets case. In the CM versus governor case regarding the Muda scam, the High Court adjourned the hearing to August 31st. The jurisdictional courts were asked to defer proceedings till further orders. The High Court dismissed the petitions of the CBI and BJP leader, challenging the withdrawal of consent to investigate the DA case of DK Shiv Kumar.
I am very happy Karnataka government and the people of Karnataka's victory. CBI was permission was been withdrawn by the government and given to Lokayukta. Karnataka government has not withdrawn the case. They have just transferred it to Lokayukta where there are hundreds of cases. That was a political thing which they are trying to do. Yediyurappa government had given a case to CBI. So the matter has been, no others can intervene.
So now Yatnal has approached Supreme Court.
Let they go. For them also there is a law, for us also there is a law.
The BJP has decided to knock on the doors of the Supreme Court. While the road hasn't been easy for the Karnataka Congress government in the recent past, the party has managed to cross the halfway mark as far as the legal battle for the DCM is concerned and is hoping to cross the other half for the Chief Minister as well. Until then, it is going to be a wait-and-watch game. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Now, the Central Election Committee meeting of BJP was held at the party headquarters in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the party's Haryana election in charge, and Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and other senior party leaders attended the meeting. Name of 55 candidates out of 90 seats for Haryana Assembly polls have been cleared. The first list is expected to come out in 2 days. My colleague Vasudha Venugopal has more details.
So a very important meeting of the Haryana Central Election Committee of the BJP was held today. The Prime Minister was in attendance. So were very important leaders of the BJP, including Home Minister Amit Shah and JP Nadda, who is the president of the BJP. And this was to put that final stamp of approval on the seats of Haryana. Remember, it's a 90-member assembly that goes to polls on the 1st of October. It's going to be a one-phase election and it's going to be a challenging battle because as far as 2024 Lok Sabha elections were concerned, it was completely even Stevens for the BJP and the Congress, with BJP getting 5 seats and the Congress getting 5 seats. It's going to be a straight Congress versus BJP battle, and the BJP wants to prove a point, but the Congress also seems to think that there is momentum on its side. So in today's meeting, around 55 seats were cleared. 35 seats remain, and there is an expectation that the first list of the BJP could be coming out in the next 2 days. What we understand from our sources is that specific emphasis is on winnability of the candidates, because this time the BJP feels that the winnability of the candidate is going to be a key differentiator. It wants to localize the candidates. Nayab Singh Saini, who is the new CM of Haryana, will also be fighting. So will be some candidates, some MP candidates who fail to win their seats. They will also be fielded again. There could be sportspersons who could be fielded. Daughters and sons of important leaders, including the daughter of Ravinderjeet Singh, could also be fielded. Ex-ministers like Anil Vij could also be fielded from some key constituencies. This is what we hear. But of course, once the list comes out, we'll be able to tell you more. As far as our sources are concerned, the specific emphasis is on ensuring there is complete non-jarred consolidation, because the Hudas from the Congress party are extremely powerful. The BJP is also hoping to make it completely localized. It has initiated this campaign called Mara Haryana, Non-Stop Haryana, and it is wanting to focus on that. And with the first list coming out, the Prime Minister's rallies will also begin. And this time it is also focusing a lot on rallies and smaller meetings of organizational workers to ensure that there is complete momentum on ground, complete coordination on ground of BJP and RSS workers.
Now, in the Haryana Assembly, where the BJP is fighting to stay in power and the Congress is aiming to make a comeback, 2 regional parties are fighting for survival. Watch this special report by Ashwini Kumar Singh.
Chautala family has always been a force in Haryana politics. But now, close on the heels of another election in Haryana, the future of the clan looks bleak. Abhay Chautala-led INLD got just 1.7% votes in the 2024 Lok Sabha polls and failed to open an account in terms of seats. The party had won just 1 seat in 2019 and saw a split in 2018 as the JJP emerged out of it. It must be mentioned that the INLD chief, Om Prakash Chautala, has been the state chief minister for 4 terms, and the party in heydays had won 47 seats in the 2000 elections.
देखो, लोकतंत्र में कोई भी पार्टी कभी ख़त्म नहीं होती, कोई सिक्योरिटी नहीं है. जनता पैदा करती है. ये जनता ने डिसाइड करना है कौन सी पार्टी सिकुड़ चुकी है कि नहीं सिकुड़ चुकी। अब इनेलो बसपा का गठबंधन जिसमें और भी छोटे छोटे दल आएंगे वो हरियाणा में सरकार बनाएगा।
Devi Lal's political legacy is divided into two camps. On the one side is grandson Abhay Chautala's Indian National Lok Dal or the INLD, and on the other is the great-grandson Dushyant Chautala's Jananayak Janata Party or the JJP. Dushyant formed this party in 2018. After 2019 elections, he emerged as kingmaker with 10 seats and became Deputy Chief Minister in the BJP-led government. But he is now facing desertions with MLAs jumping ship. In 2024 Lok Sabha, JJP did not even get 1% vote. Of the 10 JJP MLAs who won in 2019, 5 have left the party after the split with the BJP. Dushyant quit the BJP-led government just before the Lok Sabha polls. He thought that the Jat vote would rally behind him after splitting with the BJP. Now he's joined hands with Dalit leader Chandrasekhar Azad, hoping to forge a Jat-Dalit alliance.
दुष्यंत चौटाला जी हमारे पास एक ऐसा चेहरा है और यंग ब्लड है, 36 साल की उनकी उम्र है, और जहां तक हमारी नई पार्टी 2018 में उन्होंने बनाई थी तो कुछ लोग आते भी हैं, कुछ लोग जाते भी हैं। अभी हमारा गठबंधन जो एएसपी से हुआ है और हमारे चंद्रशेखर जी भी यंग हैं, तो दोनों युवा नेता मिलकर के किसान और कमेरे की लड़ाई लड़ने वाले हैं और आने वाले वक्त में आप देखेंगे कि हरियाणा में हमारी दोनों पार्टियों की मिलजुल कर एक सरकार बनेगी।
It is a question of survival for legatee of Tao Devi Lal in Haryana. Will the upcoming election will provide a new lease of life to INLD and GJP, or further it will weaken their standing in state politics? Both parties have faced crushing defeat in last Lok Sabha election, and likely BJP versus Congress bipolar contest will further decrease their chances in state politics. Ashwini Kumar Singh for NDTV.
With that, we are slipping into a short break, but right after the break, we will tell you how Gujarat is reeling under floods and how many people have lost their lives while the rescue and relief operations continue in the state. Intense monsoon rains and floods in India's Gujarat state killed at least 29 people in the past 3 days. However, the weather department has warned for more heavy showers as is expected in the western coastal state in the next few days as well. My colleague Sujata Dwivedi visited a control center. Take a look at her report.
Considering the Gujarat flood, the situation now seems to be piling up where people are stuck in their homes, and also it is the aid that they seek for. At present, I am in the Vadodara Municipal Corporation in the flood control room where every situation is monitored only for the Vadodara city, which comes under this particular organization. Now, if you see here at the video wall, there are 4 CCTV footages that are being monitored, and in every footage there can be seen waterlogging, and because of which it is the officials who have kept a tight eye on the situation to understand that where and when help is needed. Apart from this, the current flood situation and which areas are the most affected ones are being monitored first, and apart from that, people who have to be or who need relocation are then monitored and shifted on priority. And apart from these, how many teams are to be deployed at which location seems to be a priority here. And if you look at this particular board, where right from the nowcast warning to the water level statistics, which is being monitored through sensor, has been put up for updates as well as for appropriate figures. Now, if we talk about the Ajwa Dam, the dam which resulted into its overflowing, and because of which the water was then released into the riveries, leading to all the river water coming out and filling the roads and the streets of Vadodara as well as its rural areas. And the Ajwa Dam, at present, its water level is 213 feet, and that is the current level. Apart from that, the Akota Bridge, the Soj Feeder, the Kala Ghoda, the Mangal Pandey Bridge, the Vadsar Bridge, as well as the Samaharni Bridge. These are the prominent bridges in Vadodara that are being kept an eye on, and accordingly help is being deployed.
India commissioned its second nuclear submarine INS Arihant today in Visakhapatnam. The Arihant class submarine will strengthen India's nuclear triad, enhance nuclear deterrence, help in establishing strategic balance and peace in the region, and also play a decisive role in the security of the country. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who attended the nuclear missiles commissioning ceremony, described the naval milestone as an achievement for the nation and a testament to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's led government's unwavering resolve to achieve Atmanirbharta in defence sector. CIA Deputy Director David Cohen has revealed that the suspects in the foiled plot to attack a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna wanted to kill a huge number of people at the event. He explained that US intelligence agencies provided information to the Austrian authorities, which allowed them to disrupt the plot and save hundreds of lives. However, he did not reveal how they learned about the plot. Take a look at the reaction coming in.
They were found with explosives. They were found with bomb-making material. They had access to the venue. And they were plotting, I think the concert was the next day, before the day after they were arrested. They were plotting to kill a huge number, tens of thousands of people at this concert, including, I'm sure, many Americans, and were quite advanced in this. The Austrians were able to make those arrests because the agency and our partners in the intelligence community provided them information about what this ISIS-connected group was planning to do.
The Hurun India Rich List 2024 has been released, and Gautam Adani has replaced Mukesh Ambani to become the richest Indian. Adani Group's founder Gautam Adani has topped the list for this year, leaving behind Mukesh Ambani, the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries Limited. Others who also figure on the list are Cyrus Poonawalla, Shah Rukh Khan, Shiv Nadar, Radha Vembu and Anand Chandrasekaran. The young billionaires who have been included in the list are Harshil Mathur and Shashank Kumar. And with that, we're slipping into a very short break.